Hi everybody, this is PsyonicReaver, bringing you Game 3 between AeriALs, LighT, and NaW-Ratan. The map is Python, and Ratan down 2 games now against AeriALs, and we can see that AeriALs probably pretty confident going to the third game. All he has to do is win this third game, and he wins the King of the Hill series, the first ever series that Team LighT has been promoting heavily. And if AeriALs wins this game, then he's the top of the hill. He can pretend he can be king for a while until somebody comes down and knocks him off his throne. But Ratan in a little bit of trouble here. We've been seeing his gameplay falter just a little bit in the last couple of games. It just seems like in the late game, the mid to late game, he just can't get it done. And I think it's because he just doesn't use arbiters. I noticed on Othello, arbiters would have really helped him out a lot there. And the last game too, the arbiters, of course, arbiters are essential PvT, especially mid to late game. You got to get those arbiters, and they just provide mobility to your army that you can't receive otherwise. Carriers help as well. Carriers are very mobile, but they can be countered very, very easily on especially on a map like Python. Just because the middle is too open, you have to just keep your carriers around the sides of the map and to keep them away from Goliaths. So while Python is not a good example of going carriers, it is possible to go carriers on Python. I feel that it's a rather riskier move because of the open center. It's just harder to transverse your carriers to where you need to attack a Terran player, unless of course you're right next to each other. In this case though, Ratan and AeriALs are not next to each other, though we can see AeriALs here at the 9 o'clock location, and we can see Ratan at the 12 o'clock location. And again, the map is Python. And hopefully Ratan gets arbiters, just because again they'll provide the mobility that his army needs. That if you have a Terran sieging you, you can just go right around that army with your arbiter and just do a recall, bam, in the Terran base, and you either force him to try and attack you in an attempt to kill you before you kill him, or he brings his whole entire army back home, which is more ideal because it allows you to, if he has you trapped in your base, it allows you to get your army out. So we can see that AeriALs is going to find Ratan after the bat. Ratan scattered the wrong direction, and AeriALs is going to go ahead and just wall off his entrance here. And this is kind of a strategy that we've been seeing a little bit on Python. A lot of people thought that Python was unwallable, but now that we're seeing after some time that it is possible to do it, I bet it's a tad more time consuming, and it allows more of an access up your ramp if a protest player decides to come up this ramp. I mean, you never ever, if you're ever going to wall off your ramp, you don't want to have any kind of space available to let Dragoons get up on the same equal ground as your Marines or your siege tanks, because then they can snipe them off a little bit easier than if there was just them at the top of the very portion of the ramp. Marine going to chase away that probe. And we see that Ratan putting down a pylon here at the 6 o'clock location. That's probably going to be a huge indicator that he's probably going to go Reaver. There'd be no, and so you can see he's upgrading air weapons. That's just to throw AeriALs off that he's going 1 gate Dragoon. But AeriALs, he's a smart guy. He's probably figuring like, okay, so where's the robotics facility, Ratan? Where is it? Because you can see his SCV just looking around for it, or trying to. Kind of got sidetracked by those minerals there. He's just like, ooh, minerals, and now AeriALs has lost a scout. He's gonna need to send out another scout here fairly soon to confirm what Ratan is going for. I mean, he has a pretty good idea that Ratan delayed whatever he was going for considerably, because there's just too much time that passed by between building either a robotics facility or another gateway. You can see AeriALs setting up another SCV. Ratan canceling the air upgrade, getting that resources back. Got his robotics facility going down here. 2 Dragoons blocking the ramp, so that's really going to tip AeriALs off that something's fishy going on, because and actually no, AeriALs gets the SCV pass, and the reason why he was able to get that SCV pass is just before the SCV over here died, he probably selected an SCV and right-clicked them on this mineral patch, so that's how he was able to pass through those Dragoons. So I think that SCV got in just far enough to see that there was no second gateway. And we'll see what AeriALs is doing back at his base. He's got 2 factories with mines and volt speed. No siege tanks, so it's not He looks like he's just going to go purely for a vulture harasser. He's got about 4 Marines on the ramp. He probably thought that Ratan was going to try to do some sort of harass with the Dragoons, hence why so many Marines. Usually if you go that many Marines and usually if you go 2-fac, you really don't need that many Marines unless you think you're going to be harassed by Dragoons in the meantime. But AeriAL is going for the quick vultures with mines and speed. So it looks like he kind of has an inkling of what Ratan could be doing, but he's not quite sure. You can see there's no engineering bay up, and we can see Ratan has the robotic support bay. So AeriALs is thinking that he might be doing some kind of crazy 1-gate expand builder or something, so he's going for the quick vultures to run into Ratan's base and maybe get some probe kills. Unfortunately, Ratan is not expanding. He's actually got his Dragoons on the low ground, and that can be very, very dangerous. I don't know why Ratan never kept the probe outside of AeriAL's base to spot for any sort of attack in his way, but now those vultures moving in behind those Dragoons, setting mines behind those Dragoons, and now these Dragoons are effectively cut off because of the spider mines. One Dragoon trying to chase out the vultures. Vultures now inside of Ratan's base, laying down spider mines. That's going to prevent those Dragoons from being able to defend. And now those probes are just getting slaughtered like crazy. Meanwhile, the Reaver is almost done. It's going to be complete here fairly soon. And now Ratan trying to counterattack with 3 Dragoons. Really, I don't think that's going to help. I mean, with so many vultures inside of his base, it would be better just to sacrifice a Dragoon to take all the spider mines so he can save his economy, because right now his economy is in complete shambles and he can't even climb up that ramp because AeriALs has been producing siege tanks back home to help deter any sort of counterattack. Now there's just 3 vultures left harassing Ratan, and Ratan has stopped producing units in his gateway, but he's bringing in the Reaver now. Unfortunately, that Reaver doesn't have a companion, and he's not going to be able to take shots for the Reaver, but we'll see what Ratan can do with this. I don't think he's going to be able to do too much. Oh, Scarab gets in, gets a nice hit on some more SCVs, but there's 4 siege tanks and 4 Marines running around. Missile turrets are going up now, and I don't think Ratan is going to be able to come back from this game. After those missile turrets go up, you can see him trying to bring those Dragoons in, trying to harass AeriALs. AeriALs just running desperately back and forth, trying to prevent that Reaver from landing and take out more of his econ. Scarab goes off, kills 1 poor Marine, but really Ratan, this is pretty much GG. He's not producing any units, he's not producing any more probes. He's got these Dragoons harassing the entryway here, but those siege tanks are able to easily drive those 2 Dragoons off. So this is pretty much GG for Ratan. There's really not too much you can do here. So Ratan, just really, if you're gonna do any sort of a risky build, it's better to do that early in the series rather than on the game, the series that you need to win the most to keep you in the series. So Ratan gonna go 0-3 against AeriALs, and AeriALs is now the king of the hill for Team LighT. And this is PsyonicReaver. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the commentaries, and we'll see how AeriALs does against his next opponent. Not quite sure who that is yet, but I will definitely be bringing you the VODs and commentaries of that game. This is PsyonicReaver. Thanks for listening.